Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Golden Knights post-game power play. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Denise Valdez. The Golden Knights' first Stanley Cup Final game was a nail-biter. The Washington Capitals came to play. Boy, at the end there, I was a little nervous, but Vegas held on, winning 6-4. Let's bring in now Ron Futrell, who's also been watching the game tonight, and it was crazy and a fast game.
Most lead changes ever in a Stanley Cup Final. They've been playing Stanley Cup Finals for 100 years.
I just heard Doc Emrick say this. He also said it was the loudest arena they've ever experienced in the postseason. Doc Emrick, who is a broadcasting legend who's been through a million of them.
No, you guys are looking great here tonight. Okay,
this is called straight from the park outside T-Mobile into the studio.
I concur with Doc. It was loud. I was there for the first 2 periods. It was insane. The atmosphere, a ton of fun. Now we know all that sort of stuff, but they put it up another level here with this game. Back and forth, back and forth. The story of this game, the fourth line for the Vegas Golden Knights scored 2 goals in this game. The 2 goals to take it from 4-3 to tied at 4 and then 5-4. So it was that fourth line that is doing the magic, and we'll have highlights in a moment, but we have a lot of other stuff going on. People all over town excited about this game.
We're going to circle back and get those highlights. Fans all over the valley like you on the edge of your seat during the game, and we're going to check in now with Shakayla Alvarenga at City National Arena tonight. Shakayla, what was it like?
Okay, so my hands are still shaking. I'm still kind of out of breath, all right? But check out the watch party here at City National Arena. So many excited fans, even the little ones here. So excited watching the Stanley Cup Final, and the Golden Knights just won. Mom, how are we feeling right now?
Nephews, I feel awesome. So glad we won. Couldn't be happier.
Did you expect the Golden Knights to make it this far, and did you expect this outcome?
Never did. It's amazing.
Tell me a little bit about the excitement tonight here at City National Arena.
Everybody here is awesome. It's like family, friends. Just always a good time.
Yeah. And what about you?
Oh, fantastic. We had a great, these are all my grandkids, my daughter, wife. Yeah, we had a great time here. Exciting game.
What do you think about the game?
Exciting. It was nerve-wracking right at the very end. It was so great.
And did you guys like it? Did you guys like the Golden Knights?
Yeah.
Can we send them off with a chant, Go Knights Go?
Yeah.
All right. With the camera. Go.
Go Knights Go! Go Knights Go! Go Knights Go!
Kevin, I'm going to toss it over to you, girl.
Thank you so much, Shakayla. From one Go Knights Go to another, let's go! Check out this scene, you guys. How awesome is this? We got cheers. People are so excited. I don't even want to talk over them. They're talking for me. So much fun. The crowd was electric. Obviously, we all saw, as Denise mentioned, it was a nail-biter, 5-4 win. And really, as Ron mentioned, it was the fourth line tonight. Ryan Reeves, Thomas Nosek, 2 goals from that fourth line. And we got that 5-4 win to take a 1-0 series lead. And just like Shakayla, I'm going to have the fans send it out. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks so much. We had
almost as if we already won.
Well, it's a best of 7. Okay, there's a lot of work to do.
Denise and I had the pleasure of talking with Ryan Reeves' father-in-law just before, as he was walking into the game. He had a signed jersey, and said, "How do you have all those signatures?" Well, I know someone.
I know somebody, Ryan Reeves, who was picked up from Pittsburgh in a trade right before, moments before the trading deadline. Thomas Tatar and Ryan Reeves, and he scored the goal to beat Winnipeg with the deflection. His stick, by the way, went to the Hall of Fame, that NHL Hall of Fame, after he did that, and now has done this, and it has been incredible. Everybody's talked about that first line, what it's done for the Knights this year, and it has done some incredible things, but boy, there's been some other players in that fourth line that have done some magic this year.
Boy, Reeves and Riley and a couple others.
Was there like a surprise moment you were watching? You're like, whoa, I can't believe this just happened.
There was a lot throughout. When Michael Buffer came out, let's show the highlights, okay? When Michael Buffer came out, we didn't expect this. Also, Gladys Knight was there, and she did God Bless America, which was beautiful, but let's get ready to rumble. That's Michael Buffer. That's Vegas, okay? 18,000 people there fired up. Okay, right off the bat, Colin Miller has one of the hardest slap shots in the NHL. 104 miles an hour sometimes, so we had to slow-mo it. This makes it 1-0. Just a great goal right there to start things off in the first period.
You know it's fast when in slow-mo it still looks
when
fast.
When it's slow-mo, it's still fast. Okay, Nicholas Backstrom behind the net takes the pass from Oshie, makes it 2-1 at that point. Now, as we talk about the lead changes, now you've got the Caps that have taken the lead at that point. Oh, but here we go. William Karlsson behind the net, number 71. Watch him, he's hanging out there behind the net and tucks it in. We'll show the replay so you can see it a little bit better here. This ties it at 2. Here he is now. He's on the number 1 line there, and he tucks it in back there behind by Holtby. Riley Smith. One of the keys in hockey, stay in front of the net, good things can happen. Wow. Riley Smith, number 19, stay in front of the net, good things can happen. Watch him again. We'll show you the replay. This makes it 3-2 Knights. We're in the second period. There you go, Riley. Stay right there. That puck will come to you. Now, it's tied at 3 after 2. Here's Ryan Reeves with that goal. Another moral to the story. Stay in front of the net, good things happen. He ties it at 4 with that goal right there. That's Ryan Reeves again. Watch him. Number 75. Now, this was controversial here. Tom Miller hitting Jonathan Marchessault, knocked him out of the game for a little while. They called a penalty, but there was 4-on-4 penalties, so it was sort of confusing. They didn't call it right away on the ice. That could have been interference. That could have been roughing. Could have been Tom Wilson. No, I didn't do anything. What? Oh, no, he did do something. Here's the game winner right here. Shea Theodore with this great pass to Thomas Nosek. And we're going to show it again so you see the replay and just see how good this pass was, because it's tied at 4 at this point. Here we go. Theodore, oh, there you go. Wow. Nosek was right there on the right side to score this. They had an open netter at the end to make it 6-4, but that nailed it right there. Look at that. So there you go. There's your highlights and 6-4 final score.
You
Game
pointed
1
out
in the
that
books.
Activity in front of the net turns into good things over and over and over. The depth and goal scoring, and boy, that hit was dirty. Come on.
No, that Tom Wilson. Oh, the league. By the way, they did take a close look at those things and replay afterwards. They did it here when the Knights played the Kings, so they can take a look at that and go, wait a second, Tom Wilson, you might have to sit down, and they will tomorrow. That I believe will be the story tomorrow, is taking a look at that hit, because it clearly Marchessault was not. He had no vision there. It was a blindside hit.
He had already delivered the puck. The puck was gone.
Yes, and the puck was gone, so he didn't have it to where he could hit him legally there. So it could have been roughing. It could have been all sorts of things penalty-wise. But what was interesting here with this game, and you look at the way the Knights have the speed, the Caps have the strength. The Knights were able to match them strength for strength, but the Caps were able to match the Knights' speed tonight, which made it into a great hockey game. And it's going to be a great series.
And here everyone thought they were going to be tired. They haven't had as much rest, but they still looked pretty good.
High scoring. And again, as I said at the top, more lead changes than any other Stanley Cup final. Okay, so we have Fleury, Marc-Andre Fleury.
It's a good feeling. At home in front of our fans, and knowing that the win is huge.
A lot of emotions in that one, a lot of swings. How do you describe a game like that we haven't quite seen from you guys here at home?
Maybe a little too exciting, for the goalies, but sometimes it goes that way, right? We don't see it too often, but it will happen. And for me, it was just about trying to stop the next one, keep us close in the game, right? And the guys, like I said, have done a great job battling back into it, and we're behind and got a huge lead at the end there.
To win Game 1, in your experience, how important is that?
They're all important, doesn't matter what number it is, and it doesn't matter if you win it or lose it, nothing's over, right? And obviously it's huge, it's nice, and it's going to feel good tonight, but back at it tomorrow.
Don't you say that everybody has to contribute, but tonight your fourth line really contributed a lot, didn't they?
Reporter John Treach there back in the locker room talking to Marc-Andre Fleury. And I don't know what it is about hockey players, but they're always just very sedate, very chill. But then they get out on the ice and they're bumping everybody and picking fights. I mean, they've got two different personalities, these guys.
It's a very accurate observation. So mild-mannered and polite and selfless. But boy, you get them on the ice.
And Denise, you think they pick fights, huh? Okay, no, which they do, as we saw with Tom Wilson there on the ice. And Fleury, he's the best at that. He's a menace in the nets. There were no bad goals in this game that either goalie gave up.
Yeah,
it was great offense, not bad goalkeeping. Even though it was high scoring, it was still, I thought, very good defense. It was just much more tremendous offense, I think, than anybody thought we would see. and we saw the Knights' direction with that 6-4 win here tonight in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. But Fleury, you make a great observation with Fleury.
Yeah.
He's the only guy who's ever won the Stanley Cup that's in this series for the Knights. So, we have, go ahead, Ryan Reeves.
Let's
take a listen.
Some sound with him.
And it looks like maybe we just lost the signal.
It's an active scene in there in that locker room right now.
I don't think there's time to feel each other out. I think you got to jump right into it. There's there's no room for error and there's no time to waste. So we have to get right to work.
The suspense of Game 1, would you have it any other way?
No, I mean after the win, no, it doesn't matter what the score is as long as we get the win.
What's it like, though, to contribute after no goals in the regular season for the team and then so huge? I was
saving them. I don't know if you guys knew, but I told everybody I was going to save them for the playoffs. So.
Two-game goal streak. When's the last time you had that happen?
3 years ago. That's my longest streak in my career.
Ryan, what is it about this team that you were able to quick strike after your opposition gets a goal? Like that was a minute and a half, and you proved that time and again.
Yeah, I think if you look, throughout the playoffs, something happens where they score, they get a big shift. Our next shift or two, we go out and we get a goal or we have a really good shift in their zone. I think that's just part of our game.
Ryan, what was your view of Wilson's hit on Marchessault in the third period?
It's late.
It's your reaction then. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's late, and I hope the league does something about it. But that's just Wilson being Wilson.
Do you believe that there's an opportunity that this could become a flashpoint given what he's done in the playoffs so far in that particular part of the game?
What do you mean?
Like just as far as like these types of hits, he's suspended already.
He's been suspended 3 times already this season, so I mean that's enough said.
The pace of play, I mean, did it match what you thought it would be for a Stanley Cup Game 1?
Absolutely, yeah. It was it was fast in every zone, and the puck's going up and down. There's opportunities everywhere because both teams got a lot of scoring power. So yeah, it was a fast-paced game. I expect it to be even faster next game.
So in a Stanley Cup Final, this is crazy. Is there
You want to have a tough guy that can score goals. Alex Ovechkin is that guy, probably the best in the NHL right now. But Ryan Reeves is outplaying him right now. He's a tough guy who could also score goals. He's doing both of those for the Knights right now. As he mentioned, the Tom Wilson hit. We'll see what happens there.
Right, our sports team has got all that post-reaction ready for us right after this break.
welcome back to what we're calling a post-game power play.
Golden Knights, and for that matter, the Washington Capitals, too, still reeling from that wild, high-scoring Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Sports Director Chris Matthews is in T-Mobile right now for post-game reaction from the players tonight. Chris?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, what a thrilling game. It lived up to billing. It was exciting. Stanley Cup Game 1. Everybody wondered how this game would unfold. Well, it unfolded exactly how everybody thought it would, with Vegas the favorites. Going to join me now is the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, Dave Gosher. And Dave, what a thrilling game this was. I mean, if you're just like a casual fan, you're saying, I want to watch more of that stuff.
Yeah, it's off the charts, right? It's phenomenal, as you say, Chris. And that's what you hope for in a Cup final. I think a couple of good signs for the Golden Knights. A, they win. B, I think they feel they can play better. Just kind of chatting with a couple of guys here before we came on. It wasn't their best game, but at this time of year, it was more than good enough for them to pull out Game 1.
You know, you think about this throughout the playoffs now, what they've done to the LA, then San Jose, then Winnipeg, and now here getting this thing going with Washington. It's like this team seems to make all the right moves. I mean, you got you got a fourth line guy scoring 2 goals.
Yeah, well, and you had Ryan Reeves tie the game, right? And then Nosek gets the game winner and then gets the empty netter to wrap it up. So I think, you know, it's one of the things they prided themselves on all year, right, is they play all 4 lines. They play their 3 sets of defensemen. And sure enough, in Game 1 of the Cup Final, their they'll tell you, so-called 4th line scores the final 3 goals of the game.
How thrilling has it been for you to see all these games, home and away, to call the games and to be part of this whole franchise?
Well, it's crazy, Chris. Like, who thought we'd be standing here on Memorial Day talking about the Stanley Cup Final? Like, it defies all logic. But you know what? All the credit to them. They've earned every ounce of this. But, you know, they're fully aware they want to end this the right way. They're not just happy to be here. They're proud of what they've done, but they realize they still have 3 more big wins to go.
And they kind of kept that first line somewhat in check. You know, you got Ovechkin. I mean, they kind of did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you try as best you can. They're going to get their chances. Kuznetsov, Oshie, and Ovechkin. So they played Washington 3 times this year, if you count the regular season. Knock on wood, they've held Ovechkin off the board. So we'll see if they can continue that. But, you know, as I say, room for improvement for sure, but a huge win here in Game 1.
All right, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, Chris. Pleasure.
There is the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, of course. What a thrilling Game 1. Hey, it all starts again on Wednesday, and we'll send it back to the studio. An exciting game here at T-Mobile. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Chris. And I thought I was the only guy wearing a T-shirt and blazer.
Apparently that's the look. We need kind of a moment to kind of take our breath before Wednesday, because this has been pretty exhilarating. We've got some great highlights for you. Ron Futrell joining us now in the studio with some of those moments from tonight's. Ron.
Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. It started out strong. How strong? Michael Buffer strong. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, 18,000 people there. There wasn't a whole lot of rumbling in this game, though. Not many fights, so to speak. Oh, it was physical. Certainly it was that. But not as physical, perhaps, as you thought it would be. Okay, first goal of the game. Colin Miller, defenseman, has the hottest, fastest, hardest slap shot in the NHL. 105 miles an hour, and he scores that goal, makes it 1-0. Nicholas Backstrom from Oshie in front of the net for the Caps. That makes it 2-1 right there late in the first period. A lot of scoring in that first period. That was a goal that Fleury could not have stopped. Knights come right back, though, right back to tie it at 2. William Karlsson behind the net. Gotta like this. Let's watch it again. Ties it at 2, so it's 2-2 after 2. Karlsson, that great goal right there. Okay, now we go to the second period. Riley Smith hanging out in front of the net. He's in that number 1 line. Marcia Shaw, Riley Smith, William Karlsson. Stay in front of the net and good things are going to happen for you. Right there. It's now 4-3 in the third. The Knights tie the game with Ryan Reeves again right there in front of the net on the right side. There's something to that right side of Oshie, by the way, where he is missing some pucks. The Knights scored most of their goals from that side of Oshie right there. Okay, here's the shot. Tom Wilson with a blind shot on Jonathan Marchessault. He went out of the game into concussion protocol, came back into the game, but the league is going to take a look at what Tom Wilson did with that hit on Jonathan Marchessault, I believe, tomorrow. Oh, he did nothing wrong, he says. Okay, tied at 4. Here's the game winner, Shea Theodore. This is just a marvelous pass by Shea Theodore. Got him from the Anaheim Ducks and gets the pass to Thomas Nosek, who also scored the empty netter at the end of the game. But watch this pass again in slow motion. You can see it here. Just a beautiful pass right there to make it 5-4. Ended up the final 6-4. That fourth line, so-called fourth line, doing the job. Let's go live out to Kevin Martin. Been with the fans, with some of the fun that's happening out there. Kevin, what's up?
Go, Knights, go! Go,
crazy Golden Knights fans. More Go Knights Go chants, guys. They never get old, does it? Love it as the Golden Knights secure a 1-0 lead. How excited are you right now? The Golden Knights just took a 1-0 lead.
Super excited. We're born and raised here. So, hi, hello. This is a magical.
You're witnessing history every single night, it seems like. What is that like?
It's unreal. Being born and raised here, it's just completely unreal that something like this would even happen. It's an amazing feeling.
It really is. 3 more wins, and the Stanley Cup is coming to Vegas. Is that crazy to even say that?
Unbelievable. I want to see that cup go down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yes, cheer us out, guys. Back to you in the studio.
They are having a ball. Thanks so much, Kevin. And we have Belmar.
Belmar, yeah, let's listen in.
In half an hour or so, when you guys are going to be gone, it's on to next game. Good work. Thank you.
Usually we think of fourth line.
That's reporter John Treach just going from player to player to player, getting some reaction for us, and we just got at the tail end.
Yeah, that was a cameo by John Treach right
there. He
there.
said, once you guys leave, it's on to game 2, and I think they're all just waiting for the next game. They don't want to get too much ahead of themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick timeout, rejoin you in about 3 minutes right here with more Golden Knights coverage. Stay with us.
Sports leader.
All right, welcome back to T-Mobile Arena, where tonight the Vegas Golden Knights take Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Joining me now is the color analyst for the Vegas Golden Knights, Shane Knighty. You've seen all these games through the postseason, now into the Stanley Cup Final. What is it about this team? You know what? And tonight maybe not their cleanest game, and they'll probably be the first to admit it, but their ability to win different ways. That's something that teams need to do, because not every game is going to go your way. There's going to be blocks of it, the other team's going to have it. I think, though, tonight their ability to do that, to win different ways and utilize everybody. It's not always the same guys. Yes, we see a lot of Carlson, Marchessault, and Smith. They're the guys that lead them offensively, but other guys step up. And tonight we saw it from that one line with Belmar, Reeves, and Nosek. They got all 3 goals in the third period when the team was down 1. Ryan Reeves gets his second of playoffs, and Tomas Nosek. Just a great job off a good feed by Shea Theodore, who's just a tremendous young defenseman with so much talent. So they don't rely on everybody, or excuse me, they do rely on everybody to be successful. It's not just one group of players, and if somebody's not having their best night, somebody else steps up, and we've seen that all season long. It's not always a perfect game, but it's a game they find a way to win. When you think about the NHL, they got to be doing backflips over how this game unfolded. I mean, they got to be saying, wow, this final is going to be terrific if it continues like this. You can't ask for more entertainment in a game. First period, lots of goals, a little bit of controversy in the second and the third. But that said, it sets up both these teams here at this point for a reason, right? You get here because you're the best on each conference, and you expect this type of game. They're trying to lay everything on the line. Every shift, every moment means so much when you get to this point. So still a long ways to go, but it was certainly a good setup for what we might see the rest of the way. If you had to second guess, and you're Gerard Gallant, the coach, what are you telling your team now after this win? Enjoy it for about 10-15 minutes. As soon as you leave the rink, let's get focused. We'll regroup tomorrow and get ready for game 2, because it's a one game at time mentality. We've seen Gerard Gallant preach that all year. The players have bought in. They understand that's the approach. Win or lose, you forget it, you move on. And I think he's going to they'll go over video, they'll see plays, some areas that can be better. I think they need more guys going, and that'll happen in game 2. The good thing is it's a lot easier to go over those adjustments when you've won. So both teams always do that after every game, and I think for the Golden Knights, Gerard Gallant expects his team to come out maybe with a better effort here in game 2. What do you think Barry Trotz is telling the Capitals tonight? Same thing. Forget this game, move on. We got to win 2, and they'll look for the split to go home and take the series to Washington. So it'll be a similar message from both teams. All these guys have been through so many obstacles and adversity to get to this point in the season. They understand where they're at. Thank you very much, Shane. Thanks for having me. There he is, Shane Knighty, the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, wrapping up. Of course, what an exciting night here in Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights get the big win. That's just game 1, though. We'll come back on Wednesday and do it again. Back to you guys.
All right, Chris, we'll see you here in a few minutes. It's almost really impossible to go anywhere in the city without running into someone or something decked out in their Golden Knights gear. Last night, 8 News Now reporter Darlene Melendez took a ride through the valley for a look at how Las Vegas is really getting into the spirit.
'Twas the night before the Stanley Cup Finals, and all through the Strip, not a single fan was stirring, not even a pip. But the signs were everywhere, easy to see, just like the one on this marquee.
Go Knights, go!
Woo! The Statue of Liberty, suited up in gear. Now look up, it's a puck, nothing to fear. Even Sir Caesar took part in the fun. But wait, what's that? The Golden Knights team isn't the only one.
C-A-P-S, let's go Caps!
Just off of the Strip, boldly wearing their red and their blue, we found these guys in Vegas to participate too.
Nobody's gonna win in 4 or 5 games. You know, it's gonna go 6 games. It might go 7 games.
Their message is simple and one of respect. Whoever takes the cup is better than the rest.
Anyone's game, anyone's game.
As the day goes on and game 1 nears, the fans prepare and hope for happy tears.
It brings the city together, you know, especially after 1 October. You know, it's just an amazing story.
In the end, the games really can't go wrong, because after almost 8 months, this city will still be Vegas strong.
It just really hit home, and I thought, well, this is really great, and this is just something Vegas really needs.
Darlene Melendez, 8 News Now.
All right, thanks, Darlene. We're going to peek in again and take a listen with Colin Miller.
And Shea Theodore.
On the left side, Scott, 4th row.
Scott Burnside, The Athletic. Colin, if you can, you must have imagined what it would be like to play in this game. Was it different than you thought? And maybe explain why you guys continue to be able to rise to the moment when most of you have never been in these kinds of moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's an emotional game, but I think you just got to go out there and try and play your game. Obviously, there's going to be high emotions, and you're going to be a little nervous and stuff like that, but I think our group, you know, has done a good job all year, just going out there, playing the game, taking it 5 minutes at a time, you know, little sequences and going from there.
Left side, Dan, fourth row.
Shay, Dan Rosen, NHL.com. Can you just take me through that play you make and then the pass? Are you expecting that pass to Thomas to go all the way through?
I remember I got the puck at the top. I tried getting it through and kind of went off his shin pad and I got it back and kind of just saw him, found him on the back door, and he buried it, made a good play.
Front left.
Shay, on that, to feed off of that, was there anything in your mind as far as getting redemption for Oshie slipping that pass? It was just something you probably couldn't help or see, but he gets that pass that led to Carlson's goal. So how much did you feel your pass was redemption, being that ended up being the game winner?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to get scored against, so. You want to try and be the guy in the offensive zone to make plays, and that one worked out.
On the right side, Shang, third row.
Shang Peng, Hockey Buzz. This is for Colin. We talked about, you mentioned their frustration that your power play unit hadn't been producing. So can you talk about the kind of the frustration lifted when you scored, and also too your pinch on Stevenson to keep the puck in the first place on that play?
Yeah, I mean Shay's power play unit has been doing a great job of carrying us, throughout this playoffs. So we knew one was going to squeak through eventually. It's just about keeping it simple, getting those shots to the net, and I don't know, it just kind of pinched down there, and then I think they got a little out of position and just had enough time to shoot it, so I was lucky it went in.
Any more? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Coach Gallant will be here shortly.
We'll be there shortly, as mentioned, so we're going to check back in now with George McPhee being interviewed by Chris Matthews.
All right, thank you very much. Back here at T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights take Game 1. Joining me now is the General Manager, George McPhee. And, George, I'll tell you what, if you're just a hockey fan out there in the world, this was an exciting game.
Well, it sure was. It was really entertaining for anyone that was watching that. Not so entertaining for a manager, but it was entertaining, and we got the win, so we're happy tonight.
And how neat is that as the general manager when you have those fourth-line guys and scoring goals and getting involved and making it a big third period?
Well, you need everybody. To get here, you need everybody, and if you want to prevail when you're here, you need everybody. And we had a lot of guys that worked their guts out tonight, and we got to win, and that one's over with. Now we'll focus on Game 2.
Game 2, what do you anticipate in Game 2?
I have no idea at this point. Yeah. We'll regroup tomorrow and get ready, but that's up to the coaches. We'll see what develops. You never know what's going to happen in these games.
Nosek scores 2 goals. What did you see in him when you said, okay, here's a guy for us?
A year ago?
Yeah, when you...
Oh, well, we thought he was a big guy that had just finished having a real good playoff with Detroit's AHL team. And he's been really good for us this year. Very good defensively, good penalty killer. And we think there's more there in terms of offense. And I'm happy he got a pair tonight.
And Ryan Reeves gets his second goal of the playoffs, a big one again tonight.
He's played really well since we put him in the lineup, and hope he can keep it up because he's been really effective.
George, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Chris.
There he is, General Manager George McPhee. We'll send it back to you guys. Thank you.
Well, I think the general manager may have had the line of the night where he said we had a bunch of guys that worked their guts out tonight.
Yeah, also, I like what's going to happen. I have no idea. Earlier tonight, I called him brilliant. He's also pretty funny.
Yeah, with a real dry sense of humor.
Very dry.
Back with more of our special Golden Knights coverage right after this.
More lawyer, less fee.
International. Even when you guys were trailing out there, it seemed like you stayed under control and played your game. Was it just as simple as that? Just stay focused on what you guys do best?
Yeah, no, and again, we didn't have everybody going tonight the way we wanted them to go, and it was a bit of a sloppy game, and we give up a lot of scoring chances, but we created a lot of scoring chances also. So I think next game is going to be tighter, and we'll be better, and I think they'll be better, and we'll see what happens next game. But no, we got to be better. We'll be better next game.
Matt, can you pass the mic back to Shang?
Shang Peng Hockey Buzz. Speaking of a player who seemed to have a lot of energy tonight, David Perron, can you just talk about his performance tonight? And do you think maybe the long layoff may have helped him out?
Yeah, no, I think our guys, like I said, most of our guys competed hard tonight and played a good, solid game. And David made a huge play late in the hockey game when the puck was on the boards, and he got it out, and we scored the empty net goal. So he battles hard, he competes hard. He's a good veteran player for us, and that's what you need this time of the year.
Second row on the left.
Danny Webster, NHL.com. Coach, obviously after the Marchessault got hit, you responded with 2 big goals to take the lead. Can you just touch on the resiliency you guys have had all postseason long?
Well, it's, again, the fourth line went out there, so-called fourth line went out there and battled hard and got pucks down below the goal line, and that's how you score goals in this. And in a tight series when teams are, blocking shots, Big Weevil goes hard to the net, Nosek makes some good plays to the net, and Bellemare competed hard. So they're warriors for us, and they got rewarded tonight.
We'll do a few more standing up on the left side.
Ted Sobel, Sports USA. I'm curious, what was your last 8 hours like, and was this any different than what you expected it to be?
Not a whole lot different, but definitely excited, nervous, all those things. More nervous if you were a player, but as a coach, you still try and prepare your team the best you can, but definitely a lot of excitement for sure.
Fourth row on the right, Ed.
Coach Alan Snow with LVSportsBiz.com. You mentioned the sloppy nature of the game. What are some of the key things you need to tighten up and clean up for Game 2?
Just D-zone coverage a little bit, and making sure we don't give up too many odd man rushes. I think they had their D join the rush a lot tonight, and they had 4 guys on their rush, and we got to make sure we're working hard coming back and helping our defensemen out.
Left side, second row.
Over here. Can you believe that Michael Buffer did those introductions in a Stanley Cup Final game?
Yeah, that was something. That was it was almost like you're getting ready for a fight. The old time back in our era, it probably would have been different. But no, it was pretty exciting, and I thought he did an outstanding job. It was fun.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
It does give it that feel. When Buffer is there, it kind of it takes it to an epic level.
Oh, it absolutely did. Ryan Reeves, by the way, in the lineup now. He replaced William Carrier, who went out with an injury. He's still injured. He wears the red jersey at practice. And he's also a tough guy who can score goals. But Ryan Reeves in there replacing William Carrier because he set out most of the Stanley Cup playoffs as what they call a healthy scratch, meaning he can play, but they only have so many guys that they can suit up.
So we were listening to Coach Gerard Gallant there. Did it surprise you that he said he thought the team played a little sloppy and that next time they're going to be tighter?
Yeah, and the sloppiness happened on the defensive side where guys gave up turnovers and goals were scored off turnovers, and so that's the sloppiness he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so you could argue that both teams, but there is no perfect hockey game. Okay, there is always sloppiness happening during hockey games. Okay, there's Colin Miller, by the way, scoring the goal with that tremendous slap shot he's got. I mentioned one of the toughest, strongest, hardest slap shots. Here's William Karlsson behind the net, puts the puck out in front of it, and then waits behind the net and comes over on the right side and tucks it in and gets a great tuck for that goal right there to make it 2-1.
And we're going to quickly check back in, Ron, with Chris Matthews live right now with Coach Gallant.
Well, how you doing, guys? Yeah, big night here in Las Vegas, of course, here at T-Mobile with head coach Gerard Gallant. And Coach, I'll tell you what, if you're just a hockey fan living in America somewhere, that was a thrilling game.
That was a thrilling game. Lots of goals. I'm sure the fans love that on TV. As coaches, you don't like to see all those goals, but again, it was a great, exciting game, and bottom line is we got the big win tonight.
You've seen to make all the right moves, push all the right buttons. The fourth line guys, Ryan Reeves scores again, Nosek scores a couple.
Yeah, no, they worked hard for us all season long, and it's not a big part of their game is scoring goals, but when they compete hard, battle hard like that, it's great to see those guys get rewarded with a great game like that.
Now, you said that the team will be playing better on Wednesday than they did tonight.
Yeah, no, I didn't think we were as sharp as we were. We had a long layup, and it just, we weren't as sharp. And the same thing for the other team over there, Washington. I don't think they were as sharp as they usually are. So I think it'll be a more tactical game on Wednesday night and probably lower scoring game.
How was that locker room after this game, knowing a lot of these guys have never been to the final and they win their first game in the final? Was it all business? Hey, we got lots of work to do.
Yeah, they know that. They realize that. And again, it's two teams that haven't been in the finals. Washington was there 20 years ago. So it's two teams really excited and nervous, and you've seen some of that tonight in the game.
Well, it's great to see a smile on your face after this one here.
Yeah, it's good to win this hockey game. It's a great start for us, for our team and our organization. So we'll see what happens Wednesday.
I wanted to ask you about Nosek with those 2 goals. What do you see in that guy that you say, you know what, he's a guy that can get out there and do something for us?
Yeah, Nosek done it all year for us. He scored big, timely goals for us. And again, he's one of our penalty killers that does a good job. And he worked hard. He's around the net, and that's where he scored those goals.
All right, well, I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
There is head coach Gerard Gallant. Of course, an exciting win here for the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll send it back to you.
Boy, some big-time interviews on Channel 8. Thanks, Chris, from GM McPhee to Coach Gallant right there.
And nothing like a truck backing up in the middle of your live interview.
It's mayhem in that area right there where Chris is doing those interviews. It's a very tight area, and there's a lot going on.
So game 1 of the playoffs.
Right.
How often does the team that wins game 1 go on to win the whole Stanley Cup Final?
78% of the time.
No way.
Give or take. It's actually 78.2 if you want to get real close.
We'll take that point,
in the 100-year history of the NHL. Here we go, Morgan. There's a Ryan Reeves goal right there. 78% of the time, the team that wins game 1 goes on to win the Stanley Cup Finals. And in fact, each of the last 6 finals, the team that won game 1 has gone on to win. There's that pass by Shea Theodore that Shea talked about and that has been talked about quite a bit. We're going to see a lot of that pass, that goal right there. Thomas Nosek scored the goal, but Theodore with that pass was just incredible. And these are guys that were picked up from different teams. Here's the open netter at the end of the game. Nosek picked up from Detroit in the expansion draft, Theodore from Anaheim in the expansion draft, and this is what happened, 6-4 final. And game 2 will be Wednesday, 5 p.m. start, of course, here in Las Vegas, as the Knights have home ice advantage and now a 1-0 lead.
And Brian, you were saying too that, who was it that said they've never been in an arena that was as loud as the one in Las Vegas?
Doc Emmerich was saying that during the game, and he is a legendary Hall of Fame hockey broadcaster. We've all been listening to him for decades, and so not a young guy.
Yeah.
He's been at it a long time, and so it was pretty cool to hear the description of, I don't think I've ever heard anything this loud.
We really bring it. I mean, both inside and outside the arena. We felt it, too. Every time that the team scored, we were out at the park earlier. I mean, you could just hear the vibration just rumble all the way through the park. Speaking of rumble, there he is.
Good timing, Denise.
There he is. I mean, only in Las Vegas would you start a show like that. This was bigger than a fight night on Cinco de Mayo, Ron.
I've seen Buffer do a lot of those introductions. Colin Miller, again, I mentioned 105-mile-an-hour slap shot. We got to slow it down because that made it 1-0. So that was he's a defenseman, okay? He's a defenseman. When they score a goal, that's pretty exciting, okay? And this is the goal that they came back to make it 2-1. Nicholas Backstrom, the pass from Oshie there in front of the net where he scores. Again, not a bad goal, not something Fleury could have stopped. He's got to go one direction or the other, try to stop that. Nothing really that he could do at that point. Behind the net, oh, Wild Bill. Tucking it in from behind. Watch the replay of this where he puts himself in position, gets the rebound off the boards, and puts it in to tie it at 2. Riley Smith, stay in front of the net there, buddy. Yes, it's going to come to you, Riley. You stay in front of the net, you're going to get it. And it did, and he does. And that gives them the lead. Lead changes. We mentioned lead changes. 4 lead changes in this game. Most lead changes ever in a Stanley Cup final. So if you thought it was going back and forth, it was going back and forth,
So all those people who paid $800 and $1,000 for their tickets tonight, they got a great show.
They got their money's worth.
Saw a classic. It was a classic tonight.
Game 2 Wednesday. Hopefully another W. We can hope, right?
See what happens, yes.
See what happens.
Thanks for joining us for this 8 News Now Sports Special. More news tonight at 11 o'clock.
We'll see you then.